Mbukeli sasingene ihora lethu lesibili ke manje silishaya saliphephetha elokuqala asidlali. Uyabona phela le train yethu i-first stop Iindaba from Naledi straight to Park Station eJozi. Wengane zama-90s ngiyezwa kuthiwa yey senokubiza abashana nini nithi abanishaye lapha eqolo bathi gugugu uma kade niwasha. Hey hayi indaba senisondelana kanjena ama-80s. Hey ngabe lithini udaba lwenu? Makholise kusiku i-second hour.
Sesiku-second hour sesingenile sesiphakathi. Manibulise emakhaya kule yure yesibini yenqubo. Kwi-yure engaphambili ke sesachaphazela le miba ilandelayo umba wokukhethwa kukaPapas njengomgqatso ozakumela i-DA kwiphondo laKwaZulu-Natal. Njengenkulu baphathiswa siyesathetha ke nangezikhulukhula zapha eMpuma Koloni nasentshona Koloni nokunye ke okuninzi. Ngoku ke siza kuqhubela phambili sidadele esikhithini senqubo.
Okwamanje ke Mbukeli njengoba singene ehoreni lethu elisha ke sibheke ihamba phambili kuqala. Akasekho emhlabeni uZoleka Mandela kanti lokhu kuvele esitatimendeni esikhishwe ngumndeni ubese nesikhashana exinwe ngokugula.
Egoli khawute ngwemntana mibo kwandonga ziyaduma kwanyama kayipheli phela mazingendo davuka stotobala. Thina siyi-Soul Brothers sithi hlala ubukele Ekhaya Jikelele kutholakala nezemidlalo nako konke ungaphuthelwa hlala ubhekile.
Mbukeli Iindaba eyingena namhlanje kuseni zithi akasekho emhlabeni uZoleka Mandela. Lokhu kuqinisekiswe umndeni wakwaMandela ophikweni lwezindaba ze-SABC kanti udalule ukuthi uZoleka Mandela wendele kwelamathongo izolo kusihlwa kubikwa ukuthi ngesikhathi kumenela ukufa ubezungezwe amalungu omndeni wakhe ihlobo nabangani. uZoleka ke Mbukeli bengumbhali weincwadi aphinde abe isishoshovu samalungelo abantu kanti ungumzukulu kamakadebona umzabalazo ubaba uNelson Mandela ongasekho emhlabeni kanye nomama uWinnie Madikizela Mandela naye ongasekho emhlabeni.
Anga umphefumulo wakhe ungalala ngoxolo. Iphondo lasentshona Koloni lijongene nengxaki kwezinsuku njengoko imozulu embi iqhuba nokudala umonakalo. Abantu ababini bathe baduka nanjengoko imvula ibangele izikhukhula.
Ebreda stop kumasipala iCape Agulhas kunethe imvula engamamililitha ayi150 kusukela izolo ebusuku. Leli dolobha selivalelekile. Airport rifika ku-N2 khona umfula ugcwale waze wachithekela emgwaqweni u-N2. Imigwaqo eminingi yakhambeki kuyona njengamanje njengoba igugulwe imvula.
It was very hard to see my mother running around and don't know where to keep buckets on the ground or in the air to covering the water. But I think there wasn't even people interacting to assist the people because the electricity was cut off about 9 o'clock. I was hearing a booming here and it was just dark in our community. And
till now, we can't cook, we can't do anything. This rain and I think the river also, they were opening the dam. The dam, I think, it's also make the disaster in our village.
Lorries khona nokuyidolobha elincane ngaphambi kokuba ufike emgwaqweni u-N2 angeneke inhlobo. Amakhaya nenqalasizinda kucekeleke phansi. Inhlangano esizayo iGift of the Givers kudala iqalile ishaya ikhwelo losizo komasipala abahlukene.
There are many other informal settlements around the Western Cape who are calling us all the time, informing us of the situation. But the main problem is the accessibility into these areas. We have stretched out teams. We have to have teams stretched all over the Western Cape. And this is a problem we won't be able to solve in a day. It will take a few days to reach all these people.
Senqenqene emphakathi ukuthi sheshe ithole imininingwane ngezindawo okumele kuphunywe kuzo ezisengcupheni.
Kuhlasela imvula enamandla kanye nomoya eGqaberha esifundazweni Eastern Cape. Lokho kuholele ekutheni izindlu zigcwala amanzi amabhizinisi wona acekeleke phansi.
Abaningi bayamkele imvula ebikade idingeka kodwa kwabanye bathwale kanzima. Kuphephuke uphahla lebhizinisi endaweni kwathi umama wezingane ezishumi walahlekelwa ikhaya lakhe. Izimpahla zikaNandipha kanye nezezingane zakhe zimukile. Umbhede wakhe osofa kanye nasekhishini kugcwele amanzi.
They didn't get even a grocery. They didn't have even a nappies for my child because my house is full of water. I didn't have even a card of clinics of my children's.
Omakhelwane baNandipha bazama ngakho konke okusemandleni ukomisa amakhaya abo.
Our house it was full of water, so then we gonna keep the water outside now.
Many of the people they were living in this place here, they are full of water and then they can't even stay.
Izakhamuzi zakha amakhaya azo kule ndawo eminyakeni emithathu eyedlule. Ngesikhathi umkhandlu ubhekene nesomiso esikhulu.
We did yesterday receive a report from the residents here that they are getting underwater, and we activated our disaster management teams, and they came to open the hall and provide assessment and relief.
Kusenjalo kumasipala iBuffalo City kube nengozi edlweni nemphefumulo yabantu ababili ngaphandle kwaseMonti. Le ngozi kusola ukuthi idalwe isimo sezulu esingesihle endaweni.
Kwakhona amaqela ethu athe bhazalala sizama ukulungisa indawo ezingenamibane kuba zizona khona ezichaphazelekileyo. Kodwa ke kungcono into kubana abantu abaninzi akwazanga bakhuphe ezindlini kuba izindlu azitshonanga, kodwa ke sithe bhazalala sizama ukujonga kangako sinako kuba kaloku le meko yezulu yabonakala into yobana ayikazokuphela kwangoku.
Kulindeleke ezinye izimvula ezinkulu namhlanje eBay. Izikhulu zithi izikhungo zomphakathi zizohlala zivuliwe kulabo abafuna ukufihla ikhanda.
Mbukeli, emva kwekhefu sizobeke sixoxisana noDr Thulisile Bhuda ozobeke esivakashele lapha estudio sethu. Sizobexoxisana ke noKholosa. Kodwa ngaphambi kwalokho ake siquke sibheke isimo sezulu, emva lokho bese siye itolo.
Enkosi ngokuhlala nathi nisasibukele apha ekhaya jikelele kwinkqubo ndaba yakho eqaqambisa ulwimi lwemveli uDTT. Ugqirha Monica Thulisile Bhuda ngumfundi ke wemveli, umbhali wencwadi zabantwana, ingcali kwezemfundo nenkcubeko kwiYunivesithi yaseMpumalanga. Ugqirha Bhuda ke uququzelela izifundo zenkcubeko kunye nelifa lemveli. Waphumelela ke izifundo zakhe kwiYunivesithi yapha eNorthwest, wafumana isidanga seHonors kwinkqubo zolwazi zolwazi lwemveli kunye nesidanga semasters ngokunjalo kwinkqubo zolwazi lwemveli kunye nezifundo ze-PhD kwinzululwazi yentlalo kunye neenkqubo zolwazi lwemveli. Njengoko ke siqhubeka nokubhiyozela inyanga yelifa, ugqirha ke ulapha estudio ukuze azosixelela malunga nolwazi lwemveli. Gqirha, masikubulise sikwamkele enkqubeni yethu ekhaya jikelele. Sibulele ngokuba usindwendwele, mandikuncome awumhle wenza amawololo.
Ngiyathokoza nami ngithokozela ukwamkeleka endaweni le.
Gqirha, siyaphawula into yokubana uye wafunda izifundo ezibona into yokubana i-indigenous knowledge system, yet you studied kwi-university esingatsho into yokubana it's a Western university. So umuntu mhlawumbi angazibuza xa uzawufunda izifundo eziquka into ekuzothiwa i-indigenous, that is ngeyemveli, ufunxa njani ulwazi kwi-university yase-West? Ingaba kuyenzeka into yokubana ufunxe ulwazi lwemveli kwi-university yase-West?
Kuhle sithatha ama-university lawa ekuthiwa bonyana ama-Western universities. We are using the systems, we are using the resources ukuthi siragele phambili, sithuthukise amasiko nobukhwari, sithuthukise ilwazi lendabuko. Therefore, sithi indigenous knowledge is fluid, is liquid, it adapts to any change in time. Yeke thina ngombana sifundile sima Africa, sithatha ilwazi lethu la sifunde khona kuma institutions that are Western, sithatha ilwazi lethu sisebenzise insetshenziswa ezingaphakathi ukuthi sibulunge ilwazi begodwa silithuthukise. Yeke these universities nanoma zize ngokuthi zizosigandelela, kodwana ke nathi sesiyawathatha ama-university la siwasebenzisa ukuthi sithuthukise thina, ukuthi sifundise nabantwana bethu ukuthi ilwazi lendabuko liqhakathekile.
Njengobusisho into yokubana unobangela wokuba mhlawumbe nizawungena kwezi universities zase-West ingokuba apha eMzantsi Afrika okanye Afrika iphela we lack resources, bona banazo ezi resources. Umbuzo landelayo kukuba after so many years zikhona ezi university, kutheni nje singazofumana an indigenous authentic African university?
Yazi, like I've said before, ngihlathululele bonyana indigenous knowledge adapts to any change, adapts to time. Ngikho sithi indigenous knowledge is relevant even in the modern society. Yeke ama-university esikhathini esiningi nanoma sebenzisa maybe the modern architecture, for instance, but you'll find there is a section on African heritage, there is a section ngama sculptures or on African art. University of Mpumalanga ngikhuluma nawo kwanjesi bayayigwala ngesindebele ukutshengisa ukuthi they want to incorporate our culture and our heritage within universities because it prides itself of being a university Africa nge-Africa. Yeke sithi indigenous knowledge ayingazibutheleli yodwa ayingahlali yodwa, ayitshengisa ukuthi it is relevant within the modern society and it can blend itself nayo izifake ukutshengisa ukuthi iqhakatheke khulu kwamambala.
Hayi ngenene ulithanhliziyo ngendlela othetha ngayo Jonga usemfuthweni. And one of your favorite topics is decolonization of education. Njengobusithi into yokubana imfundo okanye mhlawumbe ulwazi lwendabuko luse relevant even in this modern society. Umuntu uzazibuza into yokubana how is education decolonized, because mhlawumbe uzofumanisa if you go ezikolweni fumanisa into yokubana abantwana they still study history yase-West and you wonder into yokubana how is that going to contribute engqondweni yomntana xa izofunda ngabantu base-West who were inventors? Because I mean, why not incorporate history yalapha eAfrica so that mhlambe umntwana is empowered and lanto yokuthiwa kuliwa ngayo, because I believe that indigenous knowledge system enye yezinto elwa nazo yi-mental slavery so that umntwana omnyama akhululeke kumatyoba. I mean, decolonization being one of your favorite topics. I mean, how are you decolonizing education yalapha eAfrica?
Yazi sesi ifundo le sinefundo yemazingeni aphasi which is basic education, sibe nefundo yamazikweni aphezulu which is higher institutions. Now nasikathoma ngefundo yamazikweni aphasi ithi i-CAPS curriculum indigenous knowledge kufanele ingene, needs to be incorporated in science and mathematics. Yeke kusho ukuthini? Kusho ukuthi kufanele kuqalwe bonyana ngiziphi which knowledge systems zingangena enkolweni ukuthi sisetshenziswe ze indigenous knowledge systems. Kulapho ke sikhuluma nge-basic education, siqala ama-indigenous games, siqala and other types of knowledge systems like ways of farming, for instance, indlela zokuphila esingasebenzisa nanyena ezingafundwa ngesikolweni. That is basic education. And then when we look at higher institutions, amaziko aphezulu wezefundo, siqala ukuthi kuhle ihubhululo nabantu be-Africa, indigenous communities lenziwa njani, ngombana esikhathini esiningi thina sibahubhululi nasiya kuma communities siya ngane, siya ngeziqu zethu, siya lapha sifuna ubatshengisa ukuthi thina sibolsolwazi siyazi. Yeke bayathikamezeka, bayahlukumezeka ngombana wena when you come as a professor uza lapha nomoya uprofessor awuzi uzokuhlonipha. Yeke when we decolonize, we are even saying we decolonizing research, we are adhering to the world views, sihlonipha imithetho namasiko wabantu. Begodwa nasiya lapha njengabafundi ingasi abantu ababosolwazi. Yeke i-decolonization ithoma lapho ukuthi kuqakathekile nagodwa ukuthi kube ne-module e-compulsory. I-module e-compulsory le ikhulume ngamasiko nobukhwari. Yazi kuqakathekile ngombana nomntwana usuka nge-Eastern Cape uya edrobheni uye university usahlangahlangene usathukiwe, kodwa nangabe une-module unemfundo ezikutshela ukuthi na ungumAfrika uqhakathekile, na ungumAfrika ufanele uzazi. So you need a module that roots you, that underpins you to being an African. Yeke it gives you this confidence ukuthi kanti ukuba ngumXhosa kuqhakathekile, kanti ukuba mndebele ukuba lindebele kuqhakathekile, kanti ukuba msuthu. Yeke we need that within the curriculum to say the curriculum needs to speak to us. At the same time nasiya thina njengabahubhululi siya la kuhlala khona abantu bekhethu kufanele siziphathe njani. Ungafike enkosini umbethe ibhrukwe ungakambathi iduku, ungafike enkosini ukhulume nenkosi uyiqale ngemehlweni. Yeke imithetho ekufanele siyilandele, imendlela lezi sizithweleko kufanele sizijenge ngema university.
You say something so powerful into bana within the curriculum funeke abantwana bafundiswe how they can stay grounded and rooted in their identity as Africans. And I believe when agqirha lento ithethayo izakwazi ukulwa nemiba efana no cultural discrimination. If you look at higher and basic education, fumanisa into bana mhlambi umntwana unobizo lobungoma, but because there's not enough awareness into bana umntu xa ikule journey, what is expected of those that are surrounding that person. Fumanise ngoku into kubana kukhona izinto zo bullying. I mean, in the last years we've had incidents as abantwana bazibulalayo because of cultural discrimination. So I believe lento ithethayo izakwazi ukulwa ne social ills ezijongele esikolweni no xenophobia ngokunjalo. I mean, you still speaking into bana within this curriculum abantwana mhlambe bangafundiswa into bana uziphatha njani mhlambe xa uye enkosini uthetha njani unxiba ntoni zonke ezo zinto. I mean, now we are in the modern society, bathi 21st century, and we are dealing with a different generation. Ngathi mhlambe how is their reception when it comes to being acceptive of who they are as Africans njengoko sikumaxesha esingathi into kubana aguquguqukile, there's so many western influences.
Yazi sesi i-western influences le ibamba khulu abantwana abahlala ngemadrobheni. I-western influence ibamba khulu abantwana abo ngombana baya khona kuqhakathekile ukuya esikolweni ngathi sithuthukile, kodwa abafundiswa ngamalimi. Yeke umntwana sekajayela ukuthi ufunda isikhuwa, umntwana sekajayela ukuthi ezinye izinto akasazenzi, umntwana sekajayela ukuthi nabanye abantwana akadlali nabo, udlala ngemfoni into esinjengalezo. Laba basahlala emakhaya basahodlelele okuthweni babulunge isinto. Yeke abantwana abakhulela edrobheni bathi nabafika ngemakhaya pha barareke khulu kwamambala ngombana they do not understand the culture. So bayibona ngathi is barbaric, primitive, ukuthi how will being in rebel, where will being ukuthi ngilirebele kungisaphi ukuba lirebele, where will isiZulu take me? Uyangizwisisa kodwa nangathi siqala in Asian countries, Chinese bafunda ngelimi labo, they practice their culture and they are successful, and they are blending their culture kundokanzi in the modern society. Ngithi umuntu omkhulu wase China uzaba ne-interpreter la akhuluma isiChina akhulume nawe wena umphendula nge-English, yena ukhuluma ngesiChina une-interpreter mari English uyayazi. ngombani ufuna ukutshengisa ukuthi uyazidla ngokuba umuntu ranguye begodu will lead the economy, will develop the economy ngobuchina bakhe ngesichina sakhe. Yeke thina sithini thina nasifika endaweni sesithoma hey into le ibhlungu ngombana ngazi namandebele nakafika ngedrobheni nesindebele abasasikhuluma ngoba umuntu uthini isindebele sizongisaphi umthola khuluma izulu awuzwisisi ukuthi uthini uyamuzwa lelimini ukuthi country wenza njani ngombana akakathabeli ubuyena ngikho nabafika ngedrop so into ezisimoshakala lapho ukuthi abamukeli ukuthi thina sibobani yeke nasele kufika abantu abana nathi abathi kunemfundo zendabuko kunemfundo zamasiko nobukhwari uyakhona ukuphila uyakhona ukuthuthukisa yeke we are very few in this discipline ngombana abantu babalekela ububona bathi where will culture and heritage take us.
Exactly, and ngumbuzo wami lo bensazobuza into kubana where will culture and heritage take us, because I mean with the high rate of unemployment imisebenzi emininzi izawuthi mhlawumbe iEnglish ngokwena usafika usombathe isindebele sakho kube kuthiwa so inhle kakhulu lento iphakamisa into kubana indeed our heritage is our commodity. Looking at other countries ozimentionleyo bayaphila ngesintu sabo bagxile kuso. It's only us as Africans that seem to be bowing down to these nations, yet they are rooted in their identity. And speaking of our heritage being our commodity, enye yezinto in your PhD research was Iindaba mathematics, and it's quite interesting because if you look back in history uyafumanisa into kubana even nezifundo zezibalo they were invented here in Africa zikhomba Egypt, but today it's as if mhlawumbe zize namanye amazwe. Can you just elaborate a bit on Iindaba mathematics? Intoni kanye kanye?
Iindaba mathematics sithi amandebele anelwazi lokubala. Aboma bamandebele laba benza umgwalo. Umgwalo is what you see here, and then abaphothelako, which is what you see on my neck. Basebenzisa bayabala ukuthi bakhona ukwenza imthalale bakhona undo kanti ukuphothela bakhona ukugwala. Most of them, they are even old. They never went to any formal schooling, yet they understand basic mathematics. Yeke nasiqala lokho engikubetheko ukuthi yini symmetrical geometry. Ngiyo ke aboma bamandebele abayenzako. Ngiyo ke imathematics engiyifundileko ukuthi Ndebele women are mathematicians who never attended any formal schooling, yet they have knowledge of geometry. Yinto engiyenzileko le Iindaba mathematics ukutshengisa ukuthi amakhuwa akasiletheli litho singakhuluma mala sithi mathematics iznamakhuwa. iEgypt njengobutsho ukuthi iEgypt beyikhona Pythagoras theorem. uPythagoras wafunda imathematics eEgypt mara nje siyazi ukuthi iPythagoras theorem. Ama manuscripts were Timbuktu, they had evidence ukuthi such things exist. So into ezinjengalezo sithi namandebele anelwazi le mathematics bakwazi ukubala ukwenza lokhu sesi kubala usebenzisa i-mental mathematics yeke into ifunda usesemncane uzukhule. So sithi people like Esther Mahlangu, they are mathematicians who never attended any formal schooling, yet they understand the basic mathematics.
And I mean that proves that mathematics is beyond just numbers, but I mean if mhlambi izawukwazi into kubana iphilise ngesipho sakho, meaning that it's spiritual, it's spirituality on its own. Mbukeli siyavuyisana nawe ngokuphumelela imbasa ye Golden Heritage. Halala. I think it's a well-deserved success because I mean njengokuba uthetha niqinisekile nombukele ekhaya ufuna nto kodwa ke mbukeli siyathanda into kubana udirector ake asibonise pha kwi-insert ukuba uhambe njani.
And the award goes to Dr. Monica Buden.
Every day of my life, messing around with all the guys. I'll let you one more time.
halala siyavuyisana nawe Ekhaya Jikelele. Ngiyakubona pha ungene eqongeni hayi sana awusajayivi uyaziva ndiyabona into yobana kukhona nondlebe ezikhanyila ngapha ibingengabantu abantsundu kuphela. Usiqelele ngala award oyifumaneleyo.
I-award leya ithi mina ngiliphimbo lamasiko nobukhwari, voice of heritage. Yeke bacheja inina bacheja ukuthi ngitlolela abantwana I'm involved in children's literature. Ngikhuluma incwadi yami yokuthoma ikhuluma ngogwala ukuthi nomrazinyana ngombana we know about Ndebele art, mural art, mara isungela kuphi ithomephi. Yeke incwadi yami ngalokho. Another thing is that I am an academic writer. So into ezinjengalezo eziqala ukuthi ku field ye indigenous knowledge kuyini engikufakileko. Ngikhuluma ngelwazi lamaNdebele, ngakhuluma ngelwazi le-African indigenous knowledge systems. So many fields ye-African indigenous knowledge system. Ngithi ilwazi eliqhakathekile abantwana ngakusasa kosele balifunde. Kufanele kube ngimi umhlahlandlela ngombana esikhathini esiningi silinda umuntu bonyana eze alethe ichuguluko. Kanti ichuguluko nguwe. Yeke nami ngafuna ukuba lechuguluko ukuthi nami ngichugulule izinto. Ngithome ngo-2013 ikhambeli ngingazi ukuthi namhlanje liza kufikela la ngibonwa khona ngiba isitatanyiswa khona ngalenza ngombana ngithanda ngibona ukuthi kunesikhala akhe ngingenekiswa akhe ngenza umehluko akhe nami ngibonakalise amaNdebele ukuthi aragela phambili nawo aqhakathekile ngombana esikhathini esiningi amaNdebele endweni ezinjengalezi akavela veli. Yeke ngathi ngiba ukuba mhlahlandlela.
Gqirha uthi usisithukuluku
ngichuguluko
ichuguluko ishoshovu ichanhliziyo.
I am a change.
Oh hayi siyabulela ngokuba ube sisithukuluku ngenene uqhuqe ingqondo zomlisela nomthinjana wezwekazi eAfrika and izinto esizithokozela nesizivuyela kakhulu Ekhaya Jikelele kuba ngenene sentsho njengobalisile eqala into okubana kunamasiko nezithethe over time they change but siyakholwa into okubana spirituality it's something that's gonna ground you forever. Siyabulela kakhulu Ekhaya Jikelele sikunqonelele okuhle kodwa kumsebenzi omhlo wenzayo yokuvuselela nokuqaqambisa inkcubeko. Siyathemba into okubana nencwadi zakho ngenye imini uzawuza nazo so that sikwazi ukubonisa ababukeli bethu. Enkosi kakhulu ugqirha.
Ngithokozile.
Right mbukeli wami lo ke besithetha naye nguye kaloku ugqirha Thulisile Bhuta bencokola nathi ke ngomsebenzi wakhe omhle njenge chanhliziyo lenkcubeko. Ewe kaloku sabhiyozela inyanga yamagugu namafa masithi qhwi evenkileni mbukeli qiniseka uyindawo ubukele Ekhaya Jikelele. Enkosi ngokuhlala nathi usabukele Ekhaya Jikelele. Amapolisa ezendlela eGauteng athi inkcukacha amanani zawo zokuqala zokhuseleko ezindleleni zibonise ukuba zili-17 ingozi ezisube imiphefumlo yabantu ukusukela ngoLwesine. Abantu ke abangama-21 baswelekile kwindlela zeliphondo kwimpelaveki yelifa lemveli kwaye abasibhozo kubo ngabahambi ngenyawo. Ukuva banzi ngalenye wesiza kuthetha naye uSilo Murimane kwaye oludliwano ndlebe lizakuqhutywa ngesingesi ngoba umuntu esakuthetha naye akalwazi ulwimi lwesinguni. Mnumzana uSoli, good morning. Siyakwamkela Ekhaya Jikelele ngalentsasa.
Good morning, ma'am, to you and to the viewers and listeners at home.
It's a somber moment. I mean, we've just celebrated Heritage Day, but it's so sad that, I mean, we come here today to gather the lives that are lost during this holiday. Just give us an overview around the report that was released by the Gauteng Traffic Police regarding the high number of reported fatalities during this Heritage weekend.
Well, it has been quite a very hectic, long weekend for us as our major roads has been so busy. In fact, we had about 17 fatal crashes where we lost 21 lives, starting from Friday up and until yesterday, which is a very high number. Of course, in that number, we have realized that, again, we are having that problem that we are having year on year, pedestrian jaywalking. Many of these pedestrians are walking while under the influence of alcohol, or they do walk during the night while they are not having some visible clothing. So, obviously, this is a number according to us, nobody should be dying as a result of a road traffic crash. We all have got the responsibility to ensure that we are safe wherever we are traveling. But also allow me to pass my hearty condolences to the bereaved families. It's a very bad situation, I must say. We don't like this situation. No one should be losing their lives as a result of this.
I mean, this is so sad. I mean, 21 lives lost. And you do mention, some of the contributing factors to this accident is pedestrians who were found to be under the influence of alcohol. What would you say are some of the contributing factors, I mean, during your investigation?
Well, some of the major contributory factors to our road traffic crashes really are excessive speeding, unsafe overtaking, and general disregard of the road traffic signs or rules of the road. We do have some pockets of people who really are not complying with the rules of the road, thereby endangering the lives of our people. But top on the list, we have issues such as unsafe overtaking, overspeeding, and people driving under the influence of intoxicating liquor, of course. Those are some of the contributing factors that we have come to realize. But we keep on appealing to our road users at large, because we acknowledge the fact that law enforcement officials cannot be seen in every corner of the street. So we have got to take responsibility for our own action. Even though we are there in large numbers, we are there to enforce the law, but there are situations where people take advantage. When they do not see any law enforcement official, they tend to do all sort of illicit things that are not supposed to be happening there. That is why we are losing people at a very high pace. You can just imagine, I mean, from Friday up until now, if we have lost 21 people, that figure is just too high for us.
It really looks like the behavior on our roads hasn't really changed. I mean, regardless of all the road safety campaigns in all provinces, I mean, the numbers are still showing that more and more people are still dying on our roads. Clearly, something needs to be done, because I remember that whenever there are big holidays, like, I mean, in April this year, I mean, we had the Easter Road campaign to urge drivers and pedestrians. It seems like not enough is being done. What would you say are the plans that are in place to improve the state reckless driving on our roads?
Well, one of the things that we are looking into as government, you remember that actually the adjudication of road traffic offences, where if a person is a habitual offender of a road traffic offence, we are even anticipating to suspend or even cancel or recommend the cancellation thereof of their driver's licenses. And we are also lobbying our cause in this regard, because remember, we are law enforcement agencies where we are tasked with the duty to ensure that people comply with the rules of the law. But if these people are apprehended and then when they get to court, they get like lesser sentences, it doesn't really serve a deterrent effect. I'll give you a practical example. If we get, according to our laws, no one should be walking on our freeways on foot. These pedestrians are not even supposed to be on our freeways. We charge them. After we shall have charged them, obviously they go and appear in court. Sometimes they are given petty fines such as 500 rand or 1,000 rand. Now, you cannot equate the life of a human being to 1,000 rand. So we are even recommending harsher sentences such as direct imprisonment, perhaps for a period of 1 year, 12 months, or even 24 months, just to try and deter these habitual offenders. These are some of the measures that we are really looking into.
I mean, we know that, I mean, just last week and the previous weeks, back in Musina, there was a tragic accident. And I mean, in an interview that we had with the municipality, he mentioned that the driver was found to be illegal, and also the road was not worthy for vehicles. Unroadworthy vehicles are usually a problem. What do you do to ensure that drivers adhere to the rules and ensure that their vehicles are roadworthy?
Well, from a law enforcement perspective, we are stopping this vehicle to check or to assess their roadworthiness thereof. But let me tell you that, in fact, you know, the contributory factor as unroadworthy of vehicles are actually very less. I must indicate that we have a problem of, you know, the road user behavior, the way people are driving as opposed to the roadworthiness of a vehicle. Although I acknowledge the fact that if a direction indicator is not working or a wiper blade is not working and it is raining, it affects somebody's visibility also. But almost 90% of the contributory factors to our road traffic crashes are attributed to the behavior of a human being. Things like unsafe overtaking, unsafe lane changing, the driver was driving too fast for the condition of the road and all of that. So we really have got, if we are able to change the behavior of a road user, specifically the drivers and the pedestrian, we should be able to reduce road traffic fatalities on our road.
It's so sad because, I mean, looking at the number of people that passed away, I mean, we are looking at breadwinners, and we can only imagine what will happen to those that are left behind. Do you think that enough is being done with regards to educating people about the rules of the road? And, I mean, you've just mentioned some of the inventions that you have done as, I mean, here in Gauteng. Would you measure them as a success?
Not at this stage. I must be honest with you, because if you look at our figures like right now, I mean, in a space of 3 days or so, we have lost about 21 people. We have our road safety practitioners, we even dispatch them at the malls, at your one-stop centers, along the side of the road, and we have got all this messaging. For example, we recommend that every 2 hours, a driver should then stop for about 1 hour just to take a rest. We have rolled out road safety campaigns at various schools. So there are many in place in government, but some of our people really are not coming on board to assist us to make sure that we reduce road carnages on our road. But I must mention, though, that in some cause we are having successful conviction of these people, because some of these people, you find that they get direct imprisonment if we have arrested them for things like driving under the influence of alcohol. Our major problem, though, is with pedestrians. They seem to be persistent in terms of disregarding the rules of the road. Things like jaywalking, crossing the road where it's generally unsafe to do so, or they go to the parks and then they enjoy themselves with alcohol. From there, they just loiter on our roads without looking, and they push our figures to be so high. I think there is still more that needs to be done, really.
This really calls for urgent intervention so that, I mean, we protect our drivers on the road and also pedestrians. Thank you so much for joining us. And also, as Ekhaya Jikelele, we'd also love to convey our sincere condolences to all the families that have lost their loved ones. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Right, Mbukeli we Ekhaya Jikelele lo ke besithetha naye sisithethi samapolisa ezendlela eGauteng umnumzana uSilo Murumane nobememelela abaqhubi kuba bathobele imithetho yezendlela emva kwenani eliphezulu labo bathe baphulukana nemiphefumulo yabo ngempela veki yelifa lemveli. Masithi qhwike evenkileni qiniseka awugqusha lazi siya evenkileni Bukele Ekhaya Jikelele.
Sibonga kakhulu ke mbukeli wekhaya Jikelele ngokuthi usahlanganyele kanye nathi. Njengoba sisonga inyanga yamagugu kuleli sonto, enye izinto elethu ubunye phakathi kwethu njengama-Afrika umculo wesintu. Ingakho ke namhlanje lapha endlini zokusakaza ekomkhulu le-SABC Auckland Park eGoli simeme umculi kaMaskandi uNtelezi ozositshela kabanzi malungana nokubaluleka komculo wesintu. uNtelezi, sikubingelele, siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi ube nathi namhlanje.
Yebo, niyaphila.
Hayi siyaphila nje. Nawe siyakubona ukuthi hayi nawe ukhona right.
Ikhona ngiyaphila.
Hayi kusekhaya Jikelele la hlala nje unethezeke sobe sixoxela kamnandi.
Yebo ke ma.
Ntelezi, ngiyabona igama lakho uNtelezi, ngiyazi ukuthi hayi shuthi igama lakho lomsizwa la kuMaskandi, kodwa wena ubani igama lakho nanokuthi nje uthi siqaphuqaphu ngokuthi uphuma kuphi?
uNtelezi umfana wasenkandla. Endaweni esigodini sikaMagwaza endaweni yaseMphalweni. Usemncane nje la kuMaskandi uqale ngo2015.
Oh. How uthi usasemncane 2015 unyaka mngaka 16 17 18 19 20 oh
usemncane indondo ongakayitholi ngisemncane bafuna ngithola indondo.
Oh nikala kanjalo lapha kuMaskandi indondo kwenza ukuthi uthi usumkantshubovu.
Sesibona ngayindondo kusekuthiwa hayi ke siqala uba insizwanyana.
Hayi kodwa uhamba semgwaqweni right izofika indondo yeza.
Izoqhamuka
ngesikhathi sayo. Njengoba nje kuyinyanga yamagugu sesoyisonga nje maduze nje ingabe isho ukuthini ku inyanga yamagugu njengomculi kaMaskandi kuwumculi wesintu?
Isho likhulu kakhulu futhi entsheni njoba siyintsha nje ifuna ukuthi ungaze kube into esinakeleka kakhulu njengoba sokuMaskandi nje futhi kakhulukazi esimeni sokucula. Isho kukhulu kakhulu angazi ukuthi ngingasho ngibekele iphize ngala khona ngoba uthi ngaze futhi makuthiwa samaciko ngoba ngikuthiwa wonke amaciko akhipha ngawe kulenyanga kuthiwe nje enyakeni wonke amaciko akhipha ngalenyanga kaSeptember wonke nje amaciko unyaka wonke mase kukhishwa ngalonyaka ngalenyanga njengendlela esho ukukhulu ngayo ukuthina sabantu abasha.
Ungathi kubaleka kangakanani ngoba okunye futhi ngomculo kaMaskandi ukuthi vele ungolimi lwesintu ungesizulu. Ungathi lokho kubaleke kangakanani kuwe nanokuthi nje qhakanjiswe ulimi njengoba ukhulumile nangentsha. Siyazi phela intsha yamanje hey ngihwang khuluma isingisi ngaphanda ngapha. Manje wena ungathi uqhakambisa ulimi lwesintu kubaleke kangakanani?
Kubaleke kakhulu futhi entsheni namhlanje ngoba ikakhulukazi sihlala kakhulu ngasemadolobheni. Kubaleke kakhulu ngangoba ukuthi ngaze kuthiwa lenyanga ihlala iphinda phindiwe ngendlela ebaleke ngayo ukuthi ngaze ihlale nje iphinda phindiwe kuhlale kuyinto yakaZulu into yesintu uyabona into enjalo.
Manje nje ke umuntu ongakwazi wena Ntelezi oqala ukubona namhlanje uhlelo lethe Ekhaya Jikelele ungathi nje ungawuchaza kanjani umculo wakho?
Umculo waNtelezi awufanike nawabanye abaculi.
Uyonique
uNtelezi useceleni ngoba leyingoma zami meyidlalwa kuyenzeka ukuthi akwengithi umuntu oyi2000 mewudlala umuntu loyo banento zakho onomqondo okhulile ngoba unomyalezo. Ngayibeka kanjalo nje umculo ophume eceleni noma kuthiwa udlala uma usemncane umuntu osanakanekeza izinto uzokubhora kodwa uma usulalela uzoza ukuthi hayibo kunomlayezo impela omkhulu ngoba mangidlala noma ngise stage bashiyo ukuphinda okuthiwe phinda
ukuthi kumnandi ngoba vele kubalekile futhi nalezi insuku ukuthi amaciko akhiqiza umculo onomlayezo ngoba isikhathi esiningi ukubonele amanye ama-genres omculo uthola ukuthi nje abantu sebekhiqiza umculo ngokwenza imali bengabe besanaka ukuthi imlayezo omuni okhona eculweni. Manje ke kuyajabulisa ukuza ukuthi cha wena usa-strong usaqinile ekutheni amaculo akho abe
nomlayezo nje i-album nje ibe nomyalezo nje ophelele owakhayo ngishentsheni uyakhe.
Ngiyazi ukuthi khona lapho uke wanominator ngizule ukhuluma ngeendondo ukuthi awakathola indondo shuthu awanominator kodwa somewhere kusawumculo safufusa.
Nginominatiwe kumasawuma manje amasawuma 10 nginominatiwe ka2. I-best male nalenye ukuthi kuthole ebusuku
umculo safufusa
upcoming ngikhona nje lapho kumpela kodwa futhi ngicabanga ukuthi indondo la ngizoba khona insizwa yakhe lapho. Ngiyacabanga impela engihamba nabo angibezwa.
Kuthini nje kuwe ukuthi unominatiwe la uzizwa unjani?
Ngoba ngiyitholile nje lonto angilalanga nje impela. Angilalanga njengoba ngizengafika
injabulo.
Akulazange ngilale nje impela ngoba into yokuqala kimi futhi engiyibona njengento enkulu kunabaculi abakhulu sebadala bangaze beyithole lento esengiyitholile ukuthi nginominate kuyinto enkulu kakhulu.
Manje amasawuma awards ke anini wona nanokuthi ke ababukeli noma abathandi bomculo wakho mabefisa ukuvotela kukuphi?
Ngisazokuveza ngoba basazosilethela yonke information ephelele.
Manje ke going forward ke sayibona ukuthi kunominatiwe ke ezumculo i-best male kanye ne-upcoming artist. In terms of umculo wakho ke une-album une-single oyireleasile uphusha ini njengamanje?
Ngiphusha i-album entsha isihloko sakhona esithi Damthilili bayazi abantu. Isinginingi kakhulu kubantu bayazi imnandi nje ke futhi
yona sayiphusha manje.
Eyona engisayiphusha kwamanje esahamba nje phambili kubantu.
Ethi Damthilili.
Ethi Damthilili ukushelwa kwentombi kodwa lokhana njengoba ngisho ukuthi umculo wami nomyalezo angivele ngiqonde nje ukuthi ukushelwa kwentombi yithi nje ngesintu ngesintu ukuze izoba mnandi.
Izoba mnandi. Hayi ke Ntelezi ngoba usasekhona lapha ekhaya Jikelele ke hayi sizohlala silinde siyazi ukuthi ngaphambi kokuthi uhlelo lwethu luphele uzobe ususishaya ngibonile ungena la ngesiginci kusho ukuthi uzophefuma yena uDamthilile.
Yebo ngizobazwisa abanye abantu abangakangani.
Sikufisela inhlanhla ke nakuma outs la unominatele wena konke nje kukhanye sesizokubona ke mangabe ke sekuzophela uhlelo. Umbukeli ke lo bekuNtelezi besixoxisana naye ngumculi kaMaskandi. Usakhona kuNtelezi wenza nje isiqiniseko ukuthi uyahlala uyanethezeka ngaphambi kokuthi sivala uhlelo uzobe ke sesiphake umculo omnandi kaMaskandi. Manje ke mbukela sithi nje ke qubu eyitolo siyabuya mangabe siyambukela sobe sesingena ke ehoreni lethu lokugcina nci nalapho sobe sikuphathela indaba ehamba phambili.